What's going on, everybody? Lou from Life Beyond the Panels, and we're going to be talking about the books I read last night. I actually didn't get to read as much as I would have liked last night because we're at a friend's house, and I didn't get home till about 11 o'clock at night. And yeah, I mean, when I first started reading, I actually felt really great, and I thought I was going to be able to get in my 4 issues and get in at least a couple of issues of the Wonder Woman omnibus, but that didn't happen, unfortunately. I didn't get to read any of the Wonder Woman omnibus, which is a little disappointing because I'm loving the book so much. But you know what? By the time I got to the end of the 4 issues, I made the responsible decision. It was about 1 a.m. in the morning that I should probably get some sleep, and this way I'm not like exhausted for the next day. You know, today's kind of a big fun day. We got a Magic pre-release tonight, and I know I'm going to probably get home about 11 o'clock tonight as well. So I wanted to make sure that I was awake, aware, and ready to go for the day. So yeah, sometimes that happens. You know, comment below. Are you good at stopping reading when you know it's probably time to go to bed, or do you just keep on reading, trying to push ahead? Maybe you're reading a collected edition omnibus, something like that, or reading comic books and you want to get that one last comic in. You know, I don't know about you guys, but I noticed that obviously as it gets later, you know, and you get more tired, you start to sometimes the words can end up being jumbled and not really comprehending what you're even reading. So, you know, let me know what you guys think about that when you guys start to get tired. But anyway, I want to dive into the 4 books that I read last night, and I'm going to start off with number 4, which is going to be Batwoman Issue number 4. So this one picks up right. There's a cliffhanger from issue number 3. Now, when I first started reading it, I kind of forgot about who some of these characters were. But we do actually get a major reveal in this issue. Although, if you've read Batman Elegy, Batwoman Elegy, Effigy, then it's not going to be any kind of a surprise to you. In fact, most of us probably already knew what was going on here. You know, that it's not really a Batwoman who's been going around with a gun and shooting people. Now, if it was her, I got to be honest with you, like at first when I was like, oh man, is that really Batwoman? She's carrying a gun. She's like killing people. I was like, that's pretty cool because, you know, Kate is in a mental institution right now. And that actually would have been pretty badass. But I love where this is going anyway. That's why I think this is just such a great book. There are some times where things are maybe a little bit confusing. So this is definitely one of those books where I feel like it can't be like an end of the night book. This has to be a book that you're locked in and reading it with your full attention, which I feel like is something definitely like when you're reading Greg Rucka, you do need to be locked in. So we do at least get to see Kate leave the hospital, and now things are really going to start moving. And again, you know, we're talking about Greg Rucka. We're going to get a little bit of a slow burn here, and now issue number 5, really things are really going to be heading forward. So I'm excited to see where Batwoman is going. You know, comment below, are you guys reading Batwoman, and what do you think about it? So this one here came up number 4 on my rankings for last night's reading. I gave this one a 4 out of 5. Next up, we have Nightwing issue number 139. So I need to take a moment with this here. And so this was the last book I read last night. And as I mentioned, at that point, I think actually really when I started reading this is when I really started to get tired. It was one of these books where I was reading it and like I knew it was good. You know, Dan Waters does an amazing job with Nightwing. Dan Waters, which I have not read Batman Dark Patterns yet. I do have it in trade. It's obviously I'm going to be reading it at some point. I know he did an amazing job on that. You know, back there you got Magic the Gathering Elspeth, which he wrote that as well, which I really enjoyed that Magic the Gathering book. The new one with Chase, not so much, which is why I dropped it after issue number 1. But I think he does an amazing job on Nightwing. And I think this particular arc, I think like at first I wasn't quite getting it. And I think even more so as I was reading this issue, I wasn't quite getting it. And then something happened. I read it. I thought about it. I went to go I always put my scores on League of Comic Geeks, which is a great site. If you guys haven't checked that out, I definitely recommend it. And I saw it just got a 4.5 on League of Comic Geeks. And I said to myself, what did I miss here? So for those of you guys who may not be familiar, or maybe you haven't been reading it, you know that 2 issues ago, Nightwing caused a major car accident, killed like 13-something people on this new highway in Bloodhaven. And there was a witch in his car. and he's having this back and forth with Witch, and the Witch eventually makes a move on him, like, you know, tries to cut him or whatever. When everything's said and done, it's like it's a ghost. It's a spirit from like the 1800s or something like that. And then as you're going on, now in this particular story, now we're 2 issues after. In fact, I'm drawing a blank on the issue before this right now. But in this issue, the beginning of the issue, I'm in the last issue, I know he was still very distraught. He's been distraught the entire time about what happened. You know, he killed so many people. Obviously, it was an accident, but he killed so many people. At the beginning of this issue, you have him talking to a prosecutor and basically trying to let him know, you know, look, this what almost like he was trying to like say like it really wasn't his fault. I think he's just trying to more like justify it to himself, trying to make himself feel better or whatever. And then you have the prosecutor basically at a press conference, you know, saying, look, you know, Nightwing, he killed all these people. He needs to be responsible. You know, he's, you know, one of these street vigilantes, and he needs to be responsible. He needs to turn himself in. But I'm sure he's not going to turn himself in because these superheroes, like Batman, none of them, you know, they do all these things. They get away with it. They never, you know, and they basically never admit that they're doing bad. And then she says, and I bet you that Nightwing doesn't even care. Like he's already moved on. He's not even thinking about any of his victims. Then you get this like amazing 2 pages in this comic. Let me show you guys here. So here, I mean, look at this. First of all, look at the artwork. The artwork is incredible, by the way. I love it. But you get these 2 pages here where Nightwing in the thought boxes, whatever you call them, they're not the thought balloons, is saying, you know, oh, I remember everybody. And he goes through each victim, their name, their age, things about them, because obviously he's done research on everybody who died in this. You know, it's like there was one girl, she's like a 21-year-old college student, just on her way back from school. So he's going through every single one, and it is hitting him so hard. Then where the issue goes is it shifts a little bit. You know, this bridge, the Bloodhaven River, these bodies float up in the Bloodhaven River, all decayed bodies. And Nightwing goes to the coroner's office and wants to look at every single body and learn about every single body. And it takes this turn where he ends up going to see, I don't want to give things away, of course, but where he goes to see a priest. And the ending ends up being very, very interesting and very, very thought-provoking, if it's not 1 a.m. in the morning. So when I saw that League of Comic Geeks had a 4.5, I started looking through the comments and I was like, boy, man, I really missed something here. And like, I almost like felt bad that I missed something, because like, if Dan Waters did such a great job in his comic book and I didn't appreciate it as much as I should have, like, I almost felt like, boy, like, why am I not feeling the way I should be feeling about this comic book? And the more and more I thought about it, and I literally said, you know, I'm going to sleep on this, the more that I realized how amazing this book was. Now, I'm giving it a 4 out of 5. And the reason I'm giving it a 4 out of 5 is because it didn't hit me immediately. And I feel like that's important. But this is also a situation where, this is why I love collected editions. See, I love regular issues. I love collected editions. I love them both. I love regular issues because I enjoy reading a comic book. I enjoy reading the floppy. I enjoy the fun of Wednesdays of going to get comic books. I enjoy all that. The tricky part is when you're reading so many books, and I'm reading probably about 30-something books a month, maybe more, sometimes you forget the intricate details, where when you're reading an omnibus and you're going issue to issue to issue to issue, and you're binge reading essentially, you don't really forget that. So I bet you that this is going to be even better in trade and in the omnibus when it eventually happens. I'm sure that Dan Waters is going to get a Nightwing omnibus, and I'm excited to go back and read it again. Now I could go and read the regular comics again, but I don't know. I still haven't figured out a plan. We'll talk about that in future videos and what I plan on doing specifically as omnibus is coming out. Trades, not so much. When the omnibus comes out and I have the collection in floppy, am I going to sell the books? I don't know. We're going to figure that out when the time comes. Stick around for that journey. Yeah, I gave it a 4 out of 5, but to me, there was more about this book than just the comic book. It was the experience and the fact that it made me think beyond the book. And I think that's what's amazing about these books, these comic books. I mean, I'm sure regular books as well. I don't read regular books. I don't know why I can't read regular books. I can read a comic book. Yeah, so comment below. Have you had an experience like that where you put a book down and then you realize it's actually better than I thought it was? And actually may be really, really good. And maybe Dan Waters is really that good, you know? I mean, Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I'm not going to go any more about this. We'll talk forever. And this is why I'm doing this channel, because I like to talk. So let's get to number 2. So number 2, I've got 2 indie books here for the last 2, is Excommunicated. This book came out of nowhere. I mean, I remember I put it on my pull list when I originally saw the FOC for it. I thought the original cover looked really cool. In fact, let me show you the original cover for issue number 1. So here's the issue number 1 cover. I mean, this is just like a sick cover. And the premise just seemed like about an exorcism or whatever. It seemed interesting enough. I like horror, so I was like, what the heck? Let's try it out. So this is so much fun. So basically you have this nun who was part of an exorcism. It went wrong. The guy died, and she basically got blamed for it, even though she really did nothing wrong. So the term is she was excommunicated from the church. The last issue then ends off where there's a cliffhanger. You know, she's in the process of being murdered, and here where what happens here at the beginning of the very beginning of the book is this entity, which is the entity that was possessing the other person, is now on the outside watching this, and he says to her, "Hey, you want to get out of the situation? Let me possess you." So this thing possesses the nun, or the former nun now. And now you have her as a demon. And I got to tell you, the beginning of the book was so gory, so amazing. I won't give it away if you end up wanting to read it. But then what you basically have almost is like a buddy cop movie in a way. Where now you have this demon entity who is going around possessing other people to be inside their bodies, to be able to, and talking with her, as now they are trying to unravel this mystery, because it was definitely somebody from the church who hired somebody to go and kill her. The demon is actually really funny. There's one point where the nun is like, I'm gonna send you to hell, and he's like, look, I can't go back to hell because I'm not invited. He's just not invited. He's not invited to hell. Yeah, so this is really good. The artwork in this book is really good as well. Let me show you. Let's see what I can find here that I can show you. Yeah, this is some of the crazy artwork in this book is insane. It's so good. Yeah. If I have one complaint, it's that, and I noticed this also with Nectar, is that Vault Comics, here, this is another pretty cool. The stories sometimes go a little bit too fast, and I guess that's a compliment as well, because obviously then you're not bored. But I do wish that some of these issues felt a little bit longer. But I mean, that being said, I am now officially with issue number 2. This was amazing, so I'm officially putting it on my monthly pull list. I recommend it. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. But number 1, and this shocked me. Now, this wasn't a book that came out this week, but I got it this week because my comic book, I had not originally put it on my FOC, so my comic book store got it for me this week. This is Royals issue number 3. This issue was fantastic. I mentioned it in my haul video, that this started off like as a poker book, and I'm a poker player. But it's evolved to be so much more of basically this almost crime heist. 2 guys basically running from the mob, and things just like go really off the rail here. First of all, you have your 2 main characters. You have Paul, you have Castor. This guy Castor is a complete idiot. He does not think before he acts. He, just for example, this guy Paul was trying to, in the previous issue, was like trying to get with this really nice girl, just have like a nice conversation and stuff like that. And meanwhile, Castor is in bed with like 2 women, and he sends a picture. He says, "Hey Paul, come and meet with me." And of course, like that all goes south for poor Paul when the girl sees this. Well, anyway, that girl ends up getting kidnapped. So that's where you are here now in this issue, because to be able to get this girl back, they have to complete a job for the bad guy, essentially, the person who Castor beat in the poker tournament, in order to get her back and for them just basically not to get killed. And things just go south because, of course, they have to go and steal this hammer from a church, which is run by a priest that they really like. It's like really, really nice priest. And things go so south in this. And a lot of it has to do with the fact of how stupid Castor is. It's like just no common sense. And that's how, he won a poker tournament because Paul is telepathically giving him information. But this book ends up with a massive cliffhanger. that I did not see coming. And this was a kind of a book I was a little bit on the fence for. I didn't really know, and now I'm in. Like, we're in. Like, sign me up. This is such a good book. I think it's a miniseries. It might be a 6-part miniseries. So, you know, maybe double check, look on League of Comic Geeks. They'll tell you if it's a miniseries or not. If it is a miniseries, I definitely recommend maybe pre-ordering this one. You don't have to pre-order it, of course, because it'll be available. But when you see it come out in trade, definitely get it. I'm going to highly recommend Royals. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to give away too much because I don't want to spoil it. Like, I don't want to spoil anything. I won't do any spoilers on this channel. So I recommend you guys read Royals. This was my top pick for the books I read last night. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5. So now that we have done that, first, before we go over what cover is going to go on my wall over here, if you guys are liking this content, please do me a favor, click the thumbs up, the like button, you know what that is. Click the subscribe button and click the notification bell as well, because even if you do click the subscribe button, it doesn't mean YouTube is actually going to tell you that my videos are actually being posted. I've learned that the hard way. So click the notification button. Now, let's see what's going to go on the wall there. I feel like this is kind of a tough one. I feel like none of these covers really are banger covers, but my rule is one of them are going to go on the wall. So this Batwoman cover I think is interesting. I like the red and the gray, but other than that, I like the symbolism here with the black and the white. Let's think about it. I'm going to put this one off to the side. I'm not going to say no to this yet, but let's see. All right, the Royals cover I don't really love. I'm not really a fan of this cover at all, so we're going to just push this one off to the side over here and say no. I like the first cover a lot better. This is cool, has the teeth and stuff like that and all this, and the nun here praying. But yeah, I'm not really feeling this either to go on the wall. It's not as awesome as that first cover was. This Nightwing cover actually is really cool. These are the hands of all the corpses that came from the river. I like the way the waterfront is written, the font here. This is just a creepy cover. I mean, if we put these two covers together, I think Nightwing needs to be the clear winner here, right? Yeah, I think it is. All right, let's put Nightwing up on the wall. And we are going to take down Rook Exodus and put up Nightwing. All right. This was a great cover, by the way, too. This Rook Exodus cover was fantastic. Too bad Rook Exodus, it's constantly delayed. Even already the next issue isn't out until September. Very frustrating because it's an amazing book. We'll talk about that at some point. Anyway, guys, I hope you liked the video. Once again, if you like it, subscribe, like, all the good stuff. And yeah, you know, maybe if you guys want to check out, if you have not watched my previous video for the other 4 issues I've read so far this week, check it out right over here. And until next time, see you guys later.